Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy and welcome to my channel. Now a few months ago I reviewed a game called Athena. I got it on a PSN sale that had a bunch of discounted SNK arcade games. I paid like 50 cents for it and thought that was way too expensive. I also got another game. This one I had on the NES but never played the arcade version. This time, however, I actually kind of enjoyed the NES game. It's not like the best game ever made, but it was pretty much a solid arcade beater game nonetheless. So let's sit down and take a look at the arcade version of POW, and someday I might actually get around to reviewing that NES version. For the story, you're a soldier that has been kidnapped by enemy soldiers and taken their base to be tortured and killed. Fortunately, the enemy soldiers have the same IQ as Bean Dip and forgot to do a proper search, and they did not realize that you had hid a grenade in your pocket and you blow up your cell door and start to make your escape. Are you going to try to sneak out as quietly as possible and not engage with the guards? Nah! You make Rambo look like a sissy, so you're going to beat the crap out of every guard on the base with your bare hands. Yeah, it's a standard brawler, and all you really do is just beat up enemies and keep on moving, and occasional congratulations, you beat the stage messages appear, and you go on to the next stage to do more fighting. As far as the gameplay goes, it's a standard brawler, and it's a decent one that's not really great. I should say back in the day, the NES ports were usually better than the arcade ones. Since they couldn't do a one-on-one transition of the game, they would oftentimes end up doing something a little bit different, improving upon the formula. In the NES version, you could go into these huts and beat up a soldier or two for a power-up item. Here it's just a standard left-to-right brawler as you beat the crap out of everything and move on. The only real power-up is the gun, which lets you shoot people for a few moments before dropping it. Also, there are no real boss fights in the game, something the NES version had, for example. On the NES version, you had to pick up grenades and throw them at the helicopter in order to complete the first stage. Without the bosses, it's just one similar-looking enemy wave after another, and it does get old. The controls aren't bad. They're not as smooth as, say, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, but they get the job done okay. If there is one complaint about the game, next in the monotony of just beating up soldiers, is you die a lot. The game is meant to be a quarter muncher, so expect to die every 2 to 3 seconds, it seems like. The good news is the PSN version gives you unlimited continues, and each time you die you start right from the same place, so beating the game takes no time at all. That said, I don't know if I'll ever play this arcade game too much after this, because it's a bit on the boring side. Like I said, it's not a really bad game. I have certainly played worse brawlers, but it's certainly not up there with the kings like Ninja Turtles or Final Fight. For the arcade of its days, the looks are pretty decent. The sprites are really large and they are very well detailed and animated, and the environments are nice enough to look at. While they're nothing eye-popping or innovative, the graphics for the most part do a good job, and they get the job done without being overly flashy or pretty. We get some decent sound effects here, and the music is actually pretty decent, and the soundtrack to me has a very nostalgic vibe for me. It does induce memories from when I was a kid when I listened to this music. While it does offer no frills, it is a bit cheaper at a $3 or so price tag, while most of the other brawler games from that time go around $5 to $10 on these PSN and Xbox Live Arcade, so the cheap price does give me a bit more of a hesitant recommendation. It's far from being a Final Fight or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but if you're looking for a brawler, you could definitely do worse than this one, so it might be worth picking up, especially since it's offered at a cheaper price. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master thanking you for watching, and if you would like, please subscribe to my channel. I do reviews like this all the time, and I would love to have you as a member of my community.